Vicker's persistence has finally paid off. 1.5 meters below the surface, he's produced the most important finds in the town.
I can finally say you've got back before the 15th century in the medieval period. Only just, but you're back there before it.
Right, so what have we got that's significant?
Well, we've got these 3 fairly small sherds, but they're enough to keep me happy. Basically, we've got this, which is a sherd of Late London ware, probably 14th century. We've got this, which is a sherd of early German stoneware, probably about 1350. And this, which is Dutch medieval pottery. The generic term for it is Aardenburg ware, but again, 14th century. This is exactly the sort of thing I'd expect to see in a medieval port town. You go over to Holland, or you're coming over from Holland, you fill the hold of your boat with expensive goods for trade, you have a spare corner, you stick something in like a basket of pots or whatever. It's not a big profit, but it's better than just wasting space. Wasted space was wasted money as far as the merchants are concerned, so this is exactly what I'd expect to see. Yes, I'm happy now.
These are terrific finds, and Paul's convinced that the wealthy end of town was up by the Priory. But there's still no proof that an earlier settlement began to develop up here at the time the Priory was built. Down at the workman's end of town, Phil has confirmed there was industry alongside the creek, but it's much later.
What you've actually got is a flue. That's this dark stuff, and it actually comes right the way through here. Now, it's got a wall on that side and a wall on that side. And as the flue comes through, when it gets to here, it widens out on that side and on that side into a major chamber. That's what I'm actually standing in. Now, when we actually found it, I thought, oh, it's going to be a furnace or something like that, maybe even a smithy. But now I've actually got in it, I realise it's far more substantial than ever I imagined. And I think it must be a kiln or something like that. What I don't know is how old it is. How are you on bricks?
Well, this is a handmade brick, not a machine-made one. It's slightly smaller in dimensions than your average modern brick.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And it hasn't got those the characteristic indentations.
The frog?
The frogs in the top, which you use for putting the mortar in. So that this is potentially a Tudor or early Stuart brick, 16th century, early 17th at tops.
Could it be contemporary with our wharf out there?
Broadly, it is contemporary with it, yeah, I would guess.
It would be a very convenient place to actually offload a barge or something like that, bringing in raw materials or maybe taking away finished products.
Well, I couldn't help noticing that in your tray here, you actually have a bit of nail with a washer.
That's the rove.
This is the diamond-shaped rove that you use to clench 2 planks of a barge or boat together. So you couldn't sail very far on that, but provided you got the wood to go with it, that would make a nice little barge.
Well, that rove end came from a trench just over there. So, I mean, it looks like we do have boat building on the site as well.
Or boat destruction, yes. This is a used boat rivet.
Right.
So, which means that they've had a barge and broken it up.
And that presumably is undateable.
Virtually, yes, but except the fact that the clinker building using these rows, things like the Mary Rose don't use these. The Mary Rose sunk in 1545. They went on to Carville building there, so this could be earlier than the 16th century, but some ships and barges still used rows like this through to about the 17th century or so.
This morning, Mick was confident we'd find workshops and industry along the edge of this creek, and we have, roughly 16th century from the Tudor period. But the 12th and 13th century settlement of St Osyth is still as elusive as ever. In the first trench we opened yesterday afternoon, we found a cluster of mysterious rubbish pits. And now the trench is finished, Mick's delighted.
We've got evidence of buildings in here. Can you see the sort of light-coloured patch across that area there?
Can I get in?
Yeah, yeah.
When you say light-coloured patch, you mean this?
What's that? That's mortar, so there's been a wall or a wattle and daub structure there.
Yeah.
There's a cobbled surface outside it, look where the smaller stones
This
are.
kind of pea-gritty thing.
That's right, that's not natural. And then behind you, we've got a post hole in the bottom of a trench that's going away from it that's full of oyster shells.
Yeah.
Oysters, of course, important part of the diet then, not quite the luxury we think of today.
So does that mean we've got a building?
Yeah, we've got a building here.
Or an oyster bar?
Well, we've got a building, you know. one of probably many that went across the site.
But we've got no date.
Well,
Well, we have. I mean, most of the pottery that's coming from these features is 15th century.
Then we're no nearer finding the medieval than we were, are we?
Yes, we are, because we've got lots of residual pottery. That's earlier pottery that's mixed into later features. And we've got everything from the 11th century through to the 15th century. We've got the full range of medieval pottery. Not only that, we've got imported stuff. We've got things like this. That's part of a 13th century French jug. This is exactly the sort of thing we'd expect to see in an East Coast medieval port.
but you see, he's got this silly grin on his face.
We've
I hadn't told you the best yet.
Go on.
We've got a major bonus, which is this.
Why is this a bonus?
It's a piece of a Middle Saxon German wine jar.
Is that common?
It's very rare. The only sort of places you find these are in Middle Saxon ports, again, mainly on the east coast of England.
So are we saying that in the 800s or 900s, someone in Germany was importing wine or beer or whatever right to here?
Yeah, it was important enough for a German merchant to come up the creek, bringing this sort of thing with them.
So given the evidence that we've got,
Yeah.
and it's not comprehensive, is it? Are you prepared to say that we've got a Saxon settlement?
Oh, I think so, yeah. We've got a complete range of the pottery. We've got structures which almost certainly go on in each direction. That's enough to show us we've got a settlement of that early medieval period.
Join Time Team on Patreon to access exclusive 3D models, masterclasses and behind-the-scenes insights.